Alright, so welcome back to another video. This is week 2 for US history. Okay, so if you are in world geography, I am getting a few students that are like watching videos about US history when it has nothing to do with them. Make sure you're watching the right video. So this is for my US history students. I just want to go over what we're doing for week 2. Okay, this one we're going to get a little bit, week 2's packet is going to be a little bit more related back to where we left off in terms of the history timeline. We were kind of leading down the final kind of events of the Cold War and kind of like the end of the Cold War. So that's where we're going to kind of take off from with this packet, and I'll kind of go over it in a second. I also hope in this video to answer some of the questions that I'm getting. I really do appreciate how you guys are doing my period 5 US history class. A lot of you guys are participating, which is awesome. So keep that up. And hopefully it continues throughout. Today, as I'm recording this video, your first packet is due. Okay, so the COVID time capsule and the epidemics, you need to make sure those are submitted. Okay, some of you guys were confused on the epidemic chart. That needs to be a full chart of all the different diseases that have impacted the United States over, over in history, basically. Okay, a lot of you guys asked me what you're supposed to put for the source section. The source is like, how do people get the disease? Like, how does it pass along? Okay, that's what I meant by that. Okay, so make sure that's finished. Turn that in so I can give you guys credit for that. I think that's it for now. Let's go ahead and get into the computer. Let's log into Microsoft Teams here. So for week 2, just a reminder as well, I know a lot of you guys some of you guys are sending me messages on Jupyter and things like that. Microsoft Teams is like our main place. So you should be checking this at least two to three times a week, okay? Checking what's going on there, if I'm posting any new things. This is also probably the best way to communicate with me is probably on Microsoft Teams, just because I have the app on my phone. I usually am on my laptop, so it's a lot easier for me to respond because I get alerts and I can just quickly respond. So if you have questions, there's a chat function where you can literally just chat with me. You don't have to like post on the discussion board, and you guys can ask me questions. Some of you guys are already doing that already, but that's probably the best way to get like a fast response from me. You can send me messages on Jupyter and emails and all that, but that's probably the fastest way right now. Alright, so Microsoft Teams is the headquarters. If you are not on Microsoft Teams, or if you haven't logged on since we started our distance learning, you are behind, because this is literally where everything's posted. Okay, these videos that I'm making, the assignments, the discussion post, all those are on here. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to go over, because a lot of you guys like are either forgetting to post on the discussion board or didn't know you had to do this, but every day when your class is in session, I mean, we don't really meet, but when you have class, you're supposed to be doing your discussion questions. So every Tuesday and Thursday for period 5, you're going to have some kind of discussion question that I need you guys to respond to. It's a check-in for me to see who's actively checking in and logging in, and it's also kind of like a participation credit. Okay, so you guys are not doing too bad compared to my other classes, but let's make sure we increase it. I also was talking about in my other video, if you know people that are in the class that are struggling with this and you can virtually help them out, they might be more comfortable reaching out to you guys, feel free to do so. But I'm obviously here as well to help you guys out. Okay, but you'll always have 2 discussion questions every week, and then obviously your packet is what you're working on to finish. Okay, so so far for the assignments, we have our week 1 packet due today. We only have 7 of the 38 students that have submitted that. So once again, we're missing a lot. So we need to get those finished. If you're having trouble turning it in, I posted a video for my world geography class. So if you watch my week 1 world geography video, at about 15 minutes into the video, I discuss how you turn stuff in. So you can watch that video if you really don't know how, or you can join a meeting and I can show you how to do it during the week. So that's it. Make sure you're doing the packets. I mean, I'm not going to be firm on the due date, so you can turn them in later, but you're just kind of like building up the work. Okay, so you want to try to stay on task. So if you're not finished by midnight tonight, that's fine, but now you have another packet that I'm about to go over. Okay, so now you see here we have week 2 packet due next Monday, and that's what we're going to go over in a second. Let me just go back real quick to the homepage. Remember, if you guys see these little like optional meetings, they are optional. Like, you don't have to sit in there for 30 minutes. I see some of you guys like clicking in and then like logging out. They probably just see me there looking dumb or whatever. But you don't have to come into those meetings. You don't have to talk to me at all like during the week if you don't need any help. But if you are confused, or your computer's lagging, or you're having issues with stuff, definitely check in. I've had students like call me and I've helped them do things on here. So if that's you and you find yourself in that situation, then join these meetings. If not, like, you never have to log in one of these meetings. So I wanted to make that clear, because some students think that it's like a requirement, but it's completely optional. It's if you want to come and talk or show me something, or you need me to explain something. It's obviously easier for me to talk to you guys than have to type like a whole paragraph about what you're supposed to do. So if you want to join, feel free to do so. So that's what those are. They're optional. So we'll go ahead and go to OneNote. So on OneNote, first things first, some students, they're saying like they can't get the packet, or their computer's lagging, or they don't see their work, or their work's deleted. You need to make sure you sync your notebook. So if you see anything here, so like right now I have this symbol, it's basically telling me like something's up with my notebook. That means I need to try to refresh it. So the way to refresh it, you just right click, and then there's something that's called sync this notebook. All you do is click this, and the symbol should change to this recycling sign. That means it's syncing. Once this recycling sign goes away and you don't have any like different symbols here, and all you see is the blue notebook, then you're good to go. Your notebook should be refreshed. So if you don't see your work after the little symbol goes away, then you have an issue. Then you can reach out to me and I can help you guys out. All right, but let's go ahead and look at the week 2 packet. By the way, I know we are not in class, but I was looking over some of your guys' first week packets, okay, especially for the time capsule. Like, it's literally just about you and how you're feeling right now. And a lot of you guys are giving me super short answers. I'm not saying you have to write like super long paragraphs, but write complete sentences, take your time. Remember, you guys still want to learn this stuff going into senior year, because a lot of this information is going to be expected from you when you move on to your 12th grade government and econ classes, okay? So don't just try to speed through this stuff. Like, actually learn the material, okay? So let me go over week 2's assignments. So we're going to look at JFK and the Cold War, and like his involvement in the Cold War, and like his presidency. There, for each little section, there's an Edpuzzle video, so you do have to watch these, and then you guys know how Edpuzzle works. It should log you in automatically. If not, just use your Google school email address to log into Edpuzzle, and then you just write your responses to the questions that pop up. Okay, and then after that, this is a guided reading. Here's Mr. Locke's textbook. It's literally, you guys know what this is. It's the digital textbook. If you have your textbook at home, I'm trying to look for my copy, but if you have your textbook at home, your actual textbook, you can just open it up and respond to these questions. Okay, but I did put the PDF file for you guys to reference there. So here's just guided reading. We know how this works. You're going to respond in complete sentences. So this is going to talk about JFK and his involvement in the Cold War. All right. And then we have JFK, and then kind of how he wanted to establish his new America, or his new frontier, and how he wanted to try to improve like the lives of the American people. So this is another Edpuzzle quick video. I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes long. Write your responses to the Edpuzzle, and then move on to the guided reading. Same thing, I have the textbook here, and then you're going to learn a little bit about JFK's kind of domestic policy and what he wanted to do to improve American society at the time. Okay, and he did a lot of things. A lot of people admired and loved JFK during his presidency, so you guys can read about that. Okay, and obviously he had like a tragic assassination, so there's a little bit of information on that. Okay, and then we're going to get a little bit in the civil rights movement, kind of JFK's presidency kind of intertwined with the beginning of the civil rights movement, and this is when they black activists and African Americans started to look towards politicians to kind of help with the racism and, you know, the segregation and all that kind of stuff between the black community and you know, the rest of the American citizens. So we're gonna go a little bit into this. This is one of my favorite topics. It kind of sucks that we're not in actual class and we can't do like projects and discussions and stuff like that. But I still, you know, want you guys to be able to interact with this stuff. So here you are going to, here's the textbook for number 1, 3, and 5. You are going to create a 5 W's and H chart. So for instance, so right under where it says Freedom Riders, you're going to click insert a table, and then obviously you need 6. You need 6 this way, or you can do it 6 this way, or you can go 6 this way, and then your answers would be on this side. So you go either 6 by 2 or 2 by 6. Either way, doesn't matter to me. But you're basically going to tell me who were the Freedom Riders, what did they do, where were they from, where were they at, why did they do what they did, how did they do it. So you're basically just answering the 5 W's and H and how for number 1, 3, and 5. Okay, and then the rest you just answer. With the textbook pages. Okay, all the information's in the textbook for the charts. Pretty easy. I just want you to get a good understanding. These are 3 important things. So that's it for the civil rights movement. And then I just put some optional videos. The Black Power movement. So the civil rights movement, they kind of branched off. Some people were getting fed up, didn't feel like going through the politicians were actually working out for them. So they wanted to take matters into their own hands. So you can watch a little bit about that if you choose to. So these last 2 videos, I just thought they were good videos, but it's not a required part of the assignment for this package. So you have 3 sections. We're gonna look at Kennedy and the Cold War. And then you're gonna look at Kennedy at home and his domestic policy and kind of how he envisioned his America to be. And then a little bit on the civil rights movement. Okay, and there's an ed puzzle for each section. Watch the video, answer the questions, and then do the guided reading. Okay, so that's it for this packet for week 2. Okay, like I said, it's getting a little bit more into the historical context of our class. Okay, because I do not want to just fade away from the information that you should know going into your classes next school year. Okay, so make sure if you have questions about this and you're confused or you're having trouble, please talk to me and I can help you out. But wishing you good luck, and Strickland out.